Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. From a relatively cold, freezing actually, England this morning. It's February and it's still like really cold. I'm really struggling to hold this like new camera, you know, it's like I've got two hands on this bad boy and I'm like shaking. So if the camera's literally like, hello, how are you, welcome back to my channel, it's because I can't actually hold it up and Ben is just staring at me through the gap. No, but today's video is actually a glute workout, which is, I know it's your favourite thing for me to film. Obviously I want to keep giving you loads of content that you love to watch, but this glute workout is kind of like probably one of the hardest ones I've ever done, so I would actually call it an advanced glute workout in terms of if you're lifting a pretty heavy load when you're doing these exercises such as the barbell hip thrust, and then you go into sumo deadlifts with 4 lots of 6 reps. Like, it is really difficult, hence the reason why I've put this on my channel, because I wanted something a little bit more I guess advanced for you to try. But there's loads of people, so I'm gonna go inside. Okay, so to start today's session, as always, I have incorporated glute activation. Now, the first exercise I'm doing is knee banded glute bridges. And the reason that I do activation before all of my glute workouts and actually my lower body workouts as well is the whole idea of waking up your glutes ready for the session, because you can't just go into a session and expect your glutes to fire maximally. It just won't happen. So you can't just start squatting or hip thrusting and your glutes won't be that alert really. So the idea behind the glute activation is to stimulate your glutes and not annihilate them. And what I mean by this is you don't want to do heavy loaded exercises. I always do them body weight, but then again I do always use a band just to put double duty onto my glutes, whether it's the glute max or the glute medius. So a lot of the stuff I do actually incorporate does target the side of your glutes, which is the glute medius as well. But like I said, it's all about stimulating them and not ruining them before your session. So around 5 to 10 minutes of glute activation is all you actually need. I'm quickly just finishing off my glute activation with a few hip flexor stretches, just because before I do hip thrusts and sumo deadlifts, I need to make sure my hips are feeling pretty mobile. My first exercise today is the barbell hip thrust, and I did 4 lots of 8 reps. Now, this was with 130 kg, and I actually found it really hard today just because the bench was slightly higher than what I'm used to. If you've seen my how to hip thrust video, you'll know that I've done it on an incline bench and that suits me much better. But if you actually want me to go through with you how to hip thrust, like all the technique points, the variations, where to put your head, your glutes, your feet, everything, I will link the video above for you just so you can watch it. And then just because all you guys who've like watched all my videos, I'm not repeating myself for you. But yeah, first exercise is barbell hip thrusts. Moving on to sumo deadlifts. Now, this is the first time I've actually really done them properly in a while, and I've got 80 kg here on the bar. What I always try and do with sumo deadlifts is to sit back, basically sit your body weight behind the bar, and you can tell because it's a sumo stance, my feet are really wide apart, and then all you want to do is slightly point your toes out, not like ridiculously so you're not stable, but to do the sumo deadlift you do want a wide stance, sit back, pull the bar through, and then also point your toes out. Deficit reverse lunges. Now, you're doing 4 lots of 8 reps per leg. Now, I love deficit reverse lunges as they actually increase your range of motion and stability, but not only that, it actually develops your range greater than 90 degrees in terms of your hip and your knee flexion, and then it forces you to keep the weight in your front foot, rather than when you're doing a lunge sometimes you can actually become quite imbalanced, and then it massively helps to improve single leg balance and overall hip and core stability. Not only that though, you can actually feel it significantly more in your glutes, because when you're actually stepping down you also have to step back up into the movement, which massively I don't know, like it puts extra emphasis onto your glutes. Heel elevated goblet squats. Now I find this exercise so much better for my glutes personally. I'm not sure why, but I think it's because it increases my range of motion, and all you want to do is let your hips drop straight down and you actually drive your knees forward. And what you'll notice is I've actually adopted a narrower stance maybe than what I usually would have adopted in terms of a goblet squat if my heels weren't elevated. You can see here as well that side on, the position that I'm in when I'm squatting is pretty upright. I do have that slight anterior tilt in my back, and it's something that obviously I do massively work on, but I'm obviously not emphasizing that during this exercise. Make sure when you're doing a goblet squat that you aren't pushing your hips back up, so you aren't moving horizontally and you are just going straight up and straight down. So now moving on to 3 lots of 15 reps of banded pull throughs, and all I'm doing here is actually showing you how to set the exercise up. So you grab 1 single resistance band if it's pretty tough, or 2 bands like I've done here just because it wasn't that strong for me. And then all you're actually doing is stepping into the band. So it's kind of like a vertical hip thrust. Now, as you can see, when you basically reach full hip extension, which is when you're up at the top of the movement, you want to have a slight posterior tilt. So you want to pull through with your glutes and make sure that your lower back isn't arched. So just think you are actually doing a hip thrust and pull through as hard as you can with the bands, but whilst keeping your form. If it's a little bit too heavy for you, simply just drop the band down. I would actually recommend using a mat because this absolutely killed my knees. Finally, moving on to your glute finisher. So you have 20 knee banded glute bridges, 40 lateral band walks, 30 band cha-chas, and then 15 fire hydrants, and you're doing this twice. You don't stop, you go continuous. A finisher is there to get all the metabolites into your glutes, get the blood pumping, and this is basically where you feel like your glutes are ballooning and swelling up. So obviously I've started with the knee banded glute bridges and I go through this whole circuit twice. So we got the nice little booty pump during that workout, but just want to show you these that I'm wearing. Wow, Lucy Davis, get better with this camera. This is the high-waisted flex from Gymshark in charcoal and pink. So the pink bit is literally my favourite, so it's here on my back, if you can see. So this is like my favourite set at the moment. Very comfy, very flattering. I mean, I'm quite, I guess, like broad up here, so this sports bra, that is just flattering. This here, this neckline, yeah. Okay, so you have just seen the glute workout of all glute workouts, and currently I am trying to sort out and Ben's gonna come into the image. Hello, hi. I'm currently trying to sort out my new MacBook Pro.
Okay, right.
And it's just not working. I've been trying to do it all day because I'm trying to send over quite a lot of files from my old Mac to my new Mac, just in terms of like clients, photos, videos. Videos is a massive one. I'm trying to send like all my YouTube videos from this to this, and for some reason I'm not very techie. Am I?
We porn.
There's no porn on there. But no, back to the glute workout. It was quite an advanced work and I did find it quite hard this morning actually, especially with the hip thrusts. But the bench that I actually used, because you don't usually see me using a bench on hip thrust, I use a box or a step, but I have put a how to hip thrust video on my YouTube channel. I'll put the link up here for you so you can have a little watch of that as well. Just go through loads of technique points. But really hope you enjoyed that glute workout, that you got an amazing glute pump, that it was super tough but in a good way, but challenging. Also, the glute activation that I did at the start was from my Perfect Peach Guide 2.0, which you can download from the My Coach School. The link is below for you, really easy to do. There's loads of explanation videos in terms of how to get it, but that is what I base my glute activation and glute finisher circuits, activation workouts off. But I'm going to love you and leave you. If you enjoyed this video, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!